Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too, because you are watching content like this. The name of this channel is Holistic Manifesting, because I believe in the whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting these amazing lives that we are choosing to live, because we are choosing it. Every single day we're choosing it. What I'm discussing in this video is the fact that some people do not have a container big enough for what you bring to the world. Their container is not big enough to hold what you're bringing to the world or to any space or any environment. Sometimes we want to get caught up in the idea that people are holding back something from us. They're holding back their love. They're holding back their appreciation. They're holding back their compliments. They're holding back their, support and stuff like this. But I'm a firm believer in this mature age that I've reached in my life. I'm a firm believer that that's just not true. That people are usually not holding back anything from us. People are usually showing up at the level at which they can co-create with you. And when it goes beyond that level, either there's some emotional intelligence work that needs to happen, or that needs to happen, or they can just back off and say, this is not something that I can contribute to. But normally those things don't happen. Normally people turn negative towards you and they start to lash out at you when really their container is just not big enough to hold everything that you are. If you are a very multifaceted person, and if you're watching content like this, I'm sure that you are. You're a very multifaceted person. You're you're able to be in multiple environments and never lose the sense of who you are. You have multiple talents, multiple things that you are good at. You're able to do the artwork, and you're also able to do the analytical work. You can use both sides of your brains, right? If you're very balanced in both your masculine and feminine energy, that's a huge one right there. You know when to tap into the masculine, you know when to tap into the feminine. You have both of them available to you readily at all times. When you're a person like that, you also are really balanced when it comes to dealing with other people and their emotions. You don't take it personally. You don't take everything that everybody's doing personally all the time to you. You know that other people are operating in their own level of consciousness. So it's you may see it, you may dislike it, you may be like, this is ridiculous. But at the same time, that it really doesn't have anything to do with me. That's where they're at in their growth and their development, right? So when you're a person like that, you're going to have a lot of issues when it comes to being around people who don't have that same, I always say, those are large container people, right? You have space and room that can absorb a lot of what other people bring. If they are a person that's a multimillionaire, you're not going to change who you are and what everything you represent and everything you stand for just to be in their space. You have a container big enough to be emotionally intelligent enough to be around people who have different financial statuses than you. So it doesn't completely shift your mindset and idea, right? You get into somebody's car, it's like a $200,000, $150,000 vehicle, right? You don't feel out of place, you don't belong in a vehicle, oh my God, I can't believe I'm sitting here. Your container is big enough to say, hey, this person is doing their thing. They've created this level of abundance in their life, and you can sit firmly and comfortably in your own greatness, in your own value, without letting your value be attacked because someone else has more material things or something like that. And even if you run into people who are more emotionally intelligent in certain places where you didn't even notice you needed work, you don't necessarily get in a place where you just lash out and you're they think they're better than me or whatever. You're just hey, you know what? They are better than me in that way. They're not challenged in that way when it comes to that thing, right? And you understand that having a container large enough to hold people of all different levels, it doesn't mean you necessarily have to let those people in your space, right? But it does mean that you can experience life more fully because you're not always dependent on what other people are doing and what they have going on and what they're bringing to the table and how you react to that. You're not dependent on that to feel good about yourself, right? So as I was saying before, I think we have to get out of the mindset of believing that people are holding something back from us when really they just don't have it to offer. When someone's container is not big enough, that means that you're literally holding a cup in your hand and you're putting it under the faucet, right? And you're trying to dump water in it, and you dump more water in it, and you dump more water in it. It's going to get to the place where it levels off. So whatever container they're using, either they have to find a bigger container, meaning grow exponentially, grow emotionally, grow spiritually, grow into their spirituality deeper, or that cup is going to keep on overflowing and they're not going to be able to contain what you have going on in your life. And it's going to turn into, I'll call an explosion. It's going to turn into a mess, right? If you're pouring a cup of Kool-Aid and you got the cup there and you're pouring it and you're over the countertop, when you get to the edge of where that container can hold it, if you keep on going, you're just going to make a mess, right? And a lot of people don't have a container big enough for you. So what they have to do is say, pause. I need to figure out why I'm feeling this way. They need to go take that container, pour it into a deeper container, allow themselves to be in the vastness and be okay with that. Allow themselves to now not be a person that's, because this is the thing, when your container is getting close to full, a lot of times you can feel like you have reached you have reached the highest levels of your emotional intelligence, and it's a high level until you run into somebody else with a bigger container. So you have to have the emotional maturity to say, okay, I need to get a bigger container now. And then you got to be okay with having that larger container and being next to someone whose container is full like this, and then yours is down here. And that's okay, right? And what you'll learn is that when you're okay with it, that's how you continue to grow. And every time you grow up to that next level, you're like, okay, I need a bigger container now. It's kind of like what people do when they own stores and locations. They open a small location, like a cafe. I just finished watching a video of these people opening a coffee shop. And like within 10 months, it's like, this is not common. That business exponentially grew like huge. They happened to be in the right place at the right time. They were building apartment complexes. And so now they've outgrown their container, right? So we have to just remember that there's always another level to get to. And what happens most of the time when you come in contact with people, their container is just not large enough for what you have to share to fit into. Your light is almost too bright. So while they may think you're good, they may think you're amazing, they may think you have greatness in you, they may think you're loving, kind, nurturing, sweet, supportive, all the wonderful things that everybody wants to be, multifaceted, multi-talented, able to do so many different things in many environments, able to go from this environment to that one without even flinching, right? While they may think all that, they may not be able to see themselves as a person to where your type of energy belongs in their life, in their space. Like a lot of people wish and hope and ask for things that they're not truly ready to experience. And I think that one of the biggest things that we notice on our master manifestation journeys is that when we're not ready to experience something, we'll get these opportunities and we'll get these things in our lives. But what happens is we'll somehow sabotage it for ourselves. We'll somehow have the wrong reactions or not be able to regulate our emotions or not be able to grow and expand in a way that this opportunity can stay and be a part of our lives. We'll somehow do that. And then that's what other people, and so we often call it fumbling. We'll fumble the ball. Like we had the ball in our hand and then it fell. And then we're kind of looking back for a while. It's like, I can't believe I let that opportunity slip out of my hands. I can't believe I wasn't emotionally intelligent enough to just grow and to just expand and to just be. And while we may never get the opportunity to show up with those people or those places again, the way that we know that we can now, we'll get new opportunities, right? So like that's the difference. What I think when people come back and their container was not enough to hold you and they did some ugly things or they said some ugly things, they probably should not, and they will never get another opportunity to do that with you. But you best believe the next people or places and environments that they're a part of, they're going to make sure that they don't fumble the ball again. They're going to make sure that they can see it coming a mile away. It's just like, oh no, this happened before. This person had everything going on and I just could not hold what they were trying to bring to me. I didn't have a large enough container for it. So this time I know what I need to do. I know I need to go pour myself into a larger space, a larger container. That means grow, expand, look within. And then I'm not going to lose this opportunity, even though I may have moments where I feel like I'm not ready. I can't, I don't have what it takes. I'm not mature enough. I don't bring this to the table. This person is antagonizing me. This person is patronizing me. All these things won't matter because you'll then be in a space to where you're like, you know what? I know when I need to improve. I know what I need to expand. Oh, I'm looking out my window because like I live in a city. There are these bicycle people. You might be able to see them. They do these. You can't see it. Too late. I was going to share, but it's like, oh, too late. But they do these bicycle things and they run through the city and they always playing loud music. And sometimes they come through at night and they have like glow lights on them. And it's really fun to watch. And you got to, if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss it come through. And it's kind of fun. It's like a little parade every now and then of people, doing exercise, cycling. Nonetheless, if you don't have a container large enough, a lot of people just don't have one large enough to hold what you have to offer, especially if you're a bright light, especially if you're awakened, especially if you're in alignment most of the time. You'll find that a lot of people are not. Most people are not in alignment most of the time. So when we get caught up in these situations with people, it's not necessarily them being bad people per se. And because it's such an uncomfortable feeling to not have a large enough container to hold what somebody is offering, they'll lash out. That doesn't mean you got to deal with people after they lash out, but just know that you already know it has nothing to do with you. You're going to let them be who they are. You're going to let them grow at their pace, right? Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.